So right now, a lot of Xbox gamers are feeling a certain kind of way about Phil Spencer and Microsoft in general. And you know what? Listen, I can understand some of this. Like, we've got to the point where I know there's a lot of Xbox fans that maybe perhaps feel like, Microsoft screwed them over, and that, Microsoft is more about themselves than the gamer and things like that. And that's very much where I stand with things, to be completely honest with you. It's been clear for a while now that Microsoft has no care for the console gamer and continually strip the console experience bare. Meanwhile, they're trying to build up the experience that people are using in general, like PC, mobile, that kind of stuff, and cloud. They're treating console owners like they don't even exist at this point, and it's unfortunate. And I mentioned this like a very long time ago. I can remember back with the Xbox One, right? There was a lot of times where I would complain that Microsoft wasn't doing a good job of buying content, locking down like third-party content and things like that, because when you don't do it, you might as well be paying the other companies to keep your company out of the loop. And that continues to happen, right? So Microsoft puts all their games on PlayStation, and Sony takes that 30% and they still buy exclusive content. Now, I don't know why Sony is still doing this, to be honest with you, and it's not because I'm, to be honest, just to be honest about it, because really it doesn't even matter. Like, people are going to buy the third-party games on PlayStation regardless, because nobody really owns an Xbox anymore. You know what I mean? That's just the unfortunate truth. But people thought that this was done happening or whatever, and it's really not. Obviously, there's a new Silent Hill. It's called Silent Hill Townfall. If you guys watched the PlayStation Direct, then you kind of understand what that game's all about. But it's not coming to Xbox. And there's other PlayStation games that were announced that aren't coming to Xbox. So keep that in mind. There's some games in the State of Play event that are coming to Xbox, some of them, but there's also some big ones unfortunately aren't scheduled for Xbox. The big absentee right now, Silent Hill Townfall, which many had expected to release on Xbox at the same time as other platforms, but that's just not the case, at least as things stand. The game's reveal trailer only mentions PlayStation 5, Steam, and Epic Game Store's platforms, and so does the press materials. Some of the other games that are missing are Kena, Scars of Cosmora, For Loop, Yakuai Shinobi Ops, and seemingly Konami's Rev Nor, and then all the first-party stuff you'd expect, like God of War Trilogy Remake, etc. See, that's what makes, by the way, just to kind of chime in on this, that's what makes the PlayStation shows feel a little bit better to me. I guess it's like, I understand not everybody would probably feel like that, but to me, it really just makes the PlayStation stuff feel all the better, because you are getting platform stuff, like stuff strictly for the platform, and you don't get that with Xbox anymore, unfortunately. And I feel like that's something that is a driving factor and force for PlayStation fans. You're getting stuff. It's like when they're announcing God of War or something, that's not coming to Xbox. So I think that gives people who own a PlayStation, extra incentives, extra excitement and stuff like that. Whereas when it comes to Xbox, no matter what they announce, it's all coming to PlayStation and probably Switch at some particular point. So, that's a bit of a letdown or whatever the case may be. Because, like, I always feel like if you are selling people a platform, you should be able to take advantage of your own platform with your software and do things that, wouldn't be available on other platforms and things like that. And so that's where I kind of am with this whole situation, is like Sony's developers take advantage of the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Pro, and it seems like the Xbox developers don't really do that and take advantage of the Xbox as much, which is unfortunate in my opinion. Again, it's very interesting because Kena, Scars of Cosmora expands on the action, adventure, and combat of the award-winning predecessor, which did eventually come to Xbox, I think, some years later. but this one is actually being published by PlayStation, so we'll see what happens there. I mean, Sony must have really liked it. A lot of people thought maybe Sony would buy that studio. It's going to be very interesting to see how these things kind of break apart, and is interesting how these kind of things happen. But again, we'll see how these things work out. It is interesting that some of these bigger games are kind of skipping Xbox, at least for right now. But the interesting thing is, you see like some of the PlayStation fans are like, well, see, it is on Xbox, and they circle it's coming to Steam, because like a lot of Xbox fans like to pretend like Steam is an Xbox or whatever, because supposedly the next Xbox is going to have Steam or whatever. 4Loop, which I didn't think looked really good. Shinobi Ops, yeah, I mean, it kind of is what it is. Rev Noir looked okay, of course, but again, it's just one of those things that Xbox fans just probably are fairly used to waiting at this particular time, and it's one of those things that we do have to kind of scarce as Xbox fans. You have to kind of just sit there and look and say, hey, it's going to be a crazy type of situation, in the future, seeing if developers even bother with an Xbox version of games. Are they? You know what I mean? Like, some developers might just go, hey, well, it's going to be it's going to be a very interesting situation with some of this. But anyway, Sony was definitely involved with the development of the new Kena game. Not sure of the extent, but yeah, I would just definitely say that it's probably going to be a situation where that one might not come to Xbox. Microsoft is putting everything on PlayStation. Sony's taking their cut, locking down these third-party games and exclusives and content and timed exclusive. But it is kind of a weird situation, because it does make Microsoft look like they're actually intentionally tanking and trying to help the other platforms actually be a better option, right? It's like, because at the end of the day, if you're a console gamer and you see an Xbox and a PlayStation, you're like, okay, well, I can pick up a PlayStation and I can play all Xbox games designed specifically for the PlayStation with trophy support. I can play all the PlayStation games, and I can also play more third-party stuff, because a lot of third parties are kind of, I guess, I don't want to say abandoning Xbox, but I can't imagine Xbox is I can't imagine that Xbox is like a go-to, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the future, but I hope that Microsoft kind of gets their shit straight, because they need to be able to kind of continue on with the platform. I don't want to see the Xbox console die out completely. That would completely suck. And the latest batch of Silent Hill games have been pretty good, so it's funny to me. And what's funny is, if this game does come, say, a year later to PlayStation fans will be like, look at that, Sony's losing all their exclusives, knowing damn well that Microsoft helped fund this to be a year-long exclusive in the first place. Like, Microsoft literally paid Sony to make this game exclusive, and whatever content they get, they literally paid Sony to make those games and content exclusive or timed exclusive. That's the wildest thing that I've ever seen or heard in my life. It's kind of crazy to sort of see that happen, but we'll see how these things kind of come about and how things change in the future. But what do you guys think about this? Like, at the end of the day, do you guys feel like PlayStation is wrong for locking these things up? I mean, you can't think that. I mean, I'm an Xbox fan, but there's no way that I could ever think that a company is wrong for trying to do nice things for their their fan base and stuff. That's just honestly common sense. At this particular kind of topic, it's just it wouldn't make sense for them to go out there and and say, okay, that's just like when people get upset that Sony didn't advertise that Xbox or Switch were in any of these games. Like, that's not their job. Why would Pepsi advertise Coke in their advertisements, right? It's like, you wouldn't. Why would Netflix advertise Disney Plus? Like, you're not going to see that happen. So yeah, Sony's not going to sit there and go, oh, this game's also on our competitor. Like, that wouldn't make sense. And people still don't understand that, which is kind of amazing to me. I would love your guys' thoughts and feedback on this, though. Let me know what you think. I mean, you know, again, you can understand why I don't really understand why like so much kind of things are changing in terms of gaming and stuff. But you know, Xbox fans getting ticked off, I understand that, I guess, but be ticked off at Phil Spencer and Microsoft, because they're the ones that are kind of dicking you all around. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Like, share, subscribe, rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.